You are welcome to the channel. This is Relationship Rendezvous. Here is the list of electronic transactions excluded from the federal government's newly introduced cybersecurity levies. 1. Loan disbursements and repayments. This involves providing funds to borrowers and receiving payments back, typically with interest, over a specified period. 2. Salary. This refers to the regular payment of wages or salaries to employees of an organization. 3. Intra-account transfers within the bank or between different banks for the same customer. Moving funds within or between accounts held by the same customer at the same or different banks. 4. Intra-bank transfers between customers of the same bank. Transferring funds between accounts held by different customers within the same bank. 5. Other financial institutions, OFIs, instructions to their corresponding banks. Instructions from one financial institution to another, often for fund transfers or other financial transactions. 6. Interbank placements. Placing funds with other banks, typically for short-term periods to earn interest. 7. Bank transfers to CBN and vice versa. Transfers between commercial banks and the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, or vice versa, often for settlement purposes or liquidity management. 8. Interbranch transfer within a bank, transferring funds or other assets between branches of the same bank. 9. Checks clearing and settlements, processing and settling payments made by checks, ensuring the funds are transferred from the payer's account to the payee's account. 10. Bank recapitalization related funding, only bulk fund movement from collection account. Moving funds related to bank recapitalization efforts, often involving large-scale transfers from collection accounts. 11. Savings and deposits, including transactions involving long-term investments such as treasury bills, bonds, and commercial papers. Depositing funds into savings accounts and making investments in various financial instruments for long-term returns. 12. Government social welfare programs transaction examples pension payments. Processing payments related to government social welfare programs, such as pensions, to eligible recipients. 13. Nonprofit and charitable transactions including donations to registered nonprofit organizations or charities. Handling transactions related to donations made to registered nonprofit organizations or charities. 14. Education institutions transactions including tuition payments and other transactions involving schools, universities, and other educational institutions. Managing payments for tuition fees and other expenses related to educational institutions. 15. Letter of clearing. A document used to facilitate the clearing of financial transactions, confirming that funds are available to cover a specified amount. 16. Banks transactions via internal accounts such as suspense accounts, clearing accounts, profits and loss accounts, interbranch accounts, reserve accounts, nostro and vostro accounts, and escrow accounts. Managing various internal accounts used for different purposes within the bank, such as handling suspense transactions, clearing activities, and managing reserves. The introduction of cybersecurity levies on financial transactions adds another financial burden to the already struggling citizens of Nigeria. At a time when the population is grappling with the removal of fuel subsidies, the fluctuating value of the naira, and the resultant inflation, this levy exacerbates the economic challenges faced by ordinary Nigerians. With skyrocketing electricity tariffs and a high cost of living further straining household budgets, the imposition of additional fees on financial transactions only deepens the financial strain on individuals and families. Moreover, the lack of adequate social security exacerbates the vulnerability of the most economically disadvantaged segments of society. Therefore, this cybersecurity levy appears to be insensitive to the current economic realities and risks widening the gap between the privileged few and the majority struggling to make ends meet. As a citizens advocate and social commentator, it's crucial to highlight the disproportionate impact of such policies on vulnerable populations and advocate for measures that alleviate rather than exacerbate their economic hardships. To alleviate the economic hardships faced by Nigerians due to harsh government policies, the government can consider implementing the following measures. Government should introduce or expand social welfare programs targeting the most vulnerable segments of society, providing direct financial assistance, food support, and healthcare subsidies to those in need. It is essential to reform subsidy programs to ensure they effectively target those in need while minimizing wastage and leakage. Transparent and accountable subsidy mechanisms can help mitigate the impact of subsidy removals on the most vulnerable populations. Government should implement targeted income support programs, such as conditional cash transfers or unemployment benefits, to assist individuals and families facing economic hardship. There should price controls or price stabilization mechanisms for essential goods and services to prevent excessive price hikes and ensure affordability for consumers. Infrastructure development should be prioritized, particularly in sectors such as transportation, energy, and healthcare, to reduce the cost of doing business, improve access to essential services, and stimulate economic growth. Policies to stimulate job creation and promote entrepreneurship should be implementation, including incentives for small and medium-sized enterprises, SMEs, vocational training programs, and infrastructure projects that generate employment opportunities. Targeted fiscal stimulus should be implemented measures, such as tax breaks or subsidies for businesses in key sectors, to stimulate economic activity and mitigate the impact of recessionary pressures. Government should adopt accommodative monetary policy measures, such as lower interest rates and increase liquidity in the financial system, to support lending to businesses and stimulate investment. Government should also expand access to financial services, including credit, savings, and insurance, particularly for underserved populations, to improve resilience to economic shocks and promote financial stability. Stakeholders should be engaged, including civil society organizations, trade unions, and community leaders, in a consultative process to ensure that policy decisions are inclusive, transparent, and responsive to the needs of the population. By implementing these measures, the government can help alleviate the economic hardships faced by Nigerians and foster inclusive and sustainable economic growth.